Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. You know, social media, I came into it in about 2012. Up until then, I had not had a Facebook account. I had not even had a cell phone until 2010. I lived on the top of a mountain. And so when I came back down to Florida, where my family was and where I was from, where I had deep roots out of a marriage that lasted for 25 years, I had a big shift, as most people do, most women do, in my life. And so you all, some of you all that are my friends, that have been my friends since 2012, have seen this shift in me and the transformation that has happened. And some of you all know the background to these certain events that have helped transform my life, and some don't know. So I want to talk a little bit about the light language, or speaking in tongues, as the church wants to call it. And it's an interesting thing, because when I was about 10 years old, I had a good friend that lived in Munson Slough. And I had horses, and she had dirt bikes. And so every other weekend, we'd switch back and forth and have fun during the weekends when we were kids, 4th and 5th, 6th grade. And her mama was a big PTL fan, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, who... I won't go into that. But anyway, she belonged to a church that was across from the old Baskin and Robbins on the corner there on Thomasville Road. And I was Episcopalian, cradle Episcopalian, used to standing up singing, prayer book, quiet, no emotion, to going into this church and sitting close to the back row, and everything was fine until somebody jumped up and started hollering and speaking in a foreign dialect. Scared the shit out of me. And so I always carried that with me, because these people seemed like that they were very genuine in what they were doing and what they were speaking. And so I left, and of course I never went back, and but it held an impression in my being, that experience did. So fast forward, 47 years, 50 years almost. And I was in a Reiki share. Practitioners of Reiki typically get together and have group shares to help charge one another and keep the energy strong, and to be around like-minded people, And so there was a person that was at the crown of my head while I was on the table, that spoke this light language. And there were 6 other people there that day. And they all had their hands on me and touching in an energetic manner. You just hold your hands on the person, and we're channels that the energy flows through to the body for healing. And anyway, so after the Reiki share, I left and went home. And the next morning, this language started coming out of my mouth. Now, prior to that, I had been doing hand signals, just these hand movements, and I knew that they were coming from something that I wasn't familiar with, but it was good. I felt that it was good. It was almost a release for my body to be using these hand signals. And so this language started coming out, and of course it freaked George out. He's from Alabama, and he was like, "Oh Lord, what are you speaking?" That sense has changed. But So anyway, I started looking up. Nobody really had an answer for it. And over the months, this was about a year ago, so over the months, my language changed. And the way it changed was the syllables changed. The toning was a little different. Sometimes I speak more rapidly than other times. And what I found out is that I can't control it. And when I say that, I mean that it builds up in my body and I have to energetically release it out into the world. And it's a goodness. You know, I look at, you can look on YouTube for Judy Santori, and she's been speaking this for years and traveling all around the world, and she calls it galactic language. It's, you know, the cosmos, these different energies, energetic beings that are coming down, changing our DNA at a cellular level, from a cosmic level. And then you have Christ consciousness. You know, that's what some of these churches, you know, it's the Spirit is speaking through us or through you. I'm no special than anybody else. But I knew that it was scary, but that I had to start speaking it because it's my truth. And I could be condemned for it. I could be looked like I was crazy for it, you know, and it doesn't matter, because what I'm doing is I'm getting the vibrational frequency out that my blueprint has to teach and needs to help to express my love to the world. And it's almost like when I speak it, it's a blessing. It feels like a blessing to me, and it's very earth-rooted, very earthy, and that's how I feel about it. It's, you know, there's really no explanation for it right now, but I feel like in the future that there's going to be, because there's so many other people speaking this language now. You know, they're all over the internet. This isn't anything that's made up. I mean, not from me. It just comes out. And when it does, I have to speak it. So, you know, it's all about, for me, slowing down, being cognizant of your surroundings, breath work and breathing, being grateful that you can breathe and that you do have ground to walk on, and that our world is shifting and it's important to stay grounded and with your heart full of open love. And you can have love and still have boundaries. You know, I've lived in the underworld as when I was younger, just because I went through experiences that I had no control over. And so that shaped me to be who I am today. But every experience that I went through, there was a thought form in the back of my mind that was saying, remember this so you know how it feels. You've experienced it. And so now I can go back into my library of past experiences, and I remember the feeling of how it felt, so I can relate to other people and to their experiences. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. That's what led me to shamanic practicing. I talked to all ascended masters, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, the goddesses, because I don't feel like that there's just one, there's one God. Atune, achokatani, ahinto, apone, ahanta hantakatone, hute, ashino, honolatani, apote akatain, shito, shito. Whew. Love you all. Have a great day.